Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm, of course, your host, Poodle Polish, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking into the vehicles coming into the future of World of Tanks Blitz. A perfect example would be the tank you can see in front of me, the Canon Jagdpanzer 105. So these vehicles might not be entering within the next couple of months, but they will definitely be coming into the game one time or another, as not only has Wargaming confirmed most of these vehicles, but as well we have pictures of them in the in-game files. So, of course, if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below, as it helps out the channel a crazy amount, especially because it takes a lot of time and effort to get all of this information gathered together. So starting off, we have the Canon Jagdpanzer 105. Now this is the Tier 8 German tank destroyer. It's built off of an RU-251 hull, which is very weak, of course. However, it's very small, just like an E-25 at Tier 7. However, this is a Tier 8 tank destroyer. It carries a 105mm gun capable of outputting 350 average damage, kind of the same gun you'll see on like the Jagdtiger 8.8, and as well it's got over 3,300 damage per minute, which makes it very strong. It's able to go 72 kilometers per hour forward and like 23 in reverse or something like that, which is ridiculous. This vehicle is going to be extremely strong. However, as I said, there are a lot of issues. First of all, it's non-turreted, which means that, yeah, it can be flanked. Second of all, it has a very weak armor profile. In fact, any high explosive shells from 150s and 120s will most likely not only be getting through the front, but the sides and as well the rear of this vehicle. So very little armor, but I do think that it looks very nice, as you can see here. It's just such a nice looking tank. It's kind of weird, but I do really like the look personally. Now moving on to the next vehicle, you've probably already heard a lot about it. This is the Object 260. Now, this is kind of like an Object 252 at Tier 10. You can see it's got that big lower plate, but the upper plate is very well angled with that boxy turret. It's going to be able to shrug off shells because of that weird turret design. If you want to penetrate it, you got to hit right on the flat bit next to the gun mantlet, and that's still very thick, about 350 millimeters. So it's going to be a really tricky vehicle to penetrate. The upper plate, of course, will most likely be impenetrable, although the real gimmick about this vehicle in World of Tanks PC is that it trades off some of the armor. In fact, the upper plate isn't as strong as, let's say, an IS-7 or an IS-4, but it's able to have mobility. In fact, I think on PC it goes over 65 kilometers per hour, something like that, which is ridiculous. However, in Blitz, it's stated to go 48 kilometers per hour, so we're going to see if it does go that fast or if it goes slower, but it is going to have a very nice power to weight ratio, hopefully, to keep it pumping. It's going to carry a 122mm gun, dealing 420 average damage, and it's going to be, I think it shoots actually APCR as a premium round, which is rare because, as we know, most Russian Tier 10s have heat, although now that I think about it, there are a lot of Tier 10s like the Object 263 and the IS-7 as well that don't shoot heat, but the issue with APCR, especially this one with the 317mm of premium pen, is it will struggle to cut through your average Tier 10 heavy. So that's an up, I guess, and a down is that, you know, heat doesn't dunk in the tracks. I mean, heat does dunk in the tracks and APCR doesn't, but I think it still will be a downside just because of the lower penetration values. And that's, of course, a good, really side view of it. It's going to have that really thick spaced armor. I really do love the look of it, though. It looks like an IS-7, but just even bulkier, a little bit taller, but we're going to have to see, of course, how it does when it comes into super testing, and as well how it plays when it actually comes into game. I do expect this vehicle to most likely come in within the next 5 or 4 months, because we've already had the tank in the Blitz Fair, the AMX M454, and just like last year, we had vehicles like the Super Conqueror, which came in mid-year. That way they can at least, you know, have some sort of Tier 10 in crates that they can make money off of. So they'll usually bring out 1 or 2 Tier 10s in between the year, and then they'll bring out one at the end of the year, again, for the Blitz Fair. So we're going to have to see if that does happen for the Object 260. Now moving up to the Tier 6 Poodle. This is a Tier 6 Polish medium tank. Now, the good news is that since we're seeing a Polish medium, that also means that most likely the Polish heavies will be coming into the game, but this is pretty far in the future, probably a month or two. This tank should be coming into the game. Now, this is based off of a Panther hull, which is very impressive. A Tier 6 with a Tier 7 chassis, so it's going to be able to shrug off a lot of frontal armor. Not to mention, it carries a good gun. I think 100, not 100mm, I think it's a 76mm, dealing 160 average damage, which of course is very nice. It's just going to be an average Tier 6 medium. I'm thinking nothing, you know, overpowered, nothing spectacular, but I do really like the look of it. I think it looks fantastic. Got the nice Czechoslovakian flags on the front and on the side. I think it's going to have around 8 degrees of gun depression, if I'm not mistaken, but it does look very nice. I've always loved the design of the Panther. I think the real killer about this vehicle is the turret armor is extremely weak. As you can see, it looks like a stock Panther turret. So again, we'll have to see how this vehicle is when it comes out, but I'm very excited for the Polish tanks in general to be coming into the game. Now, up to the next one. This is a vehicle that is feared It is all loved by me. This is the Object 907, a tier 10 Russian medium tank. Now this tank is very strong. It's got a weird turret, by the way. I keep looking at that, just wondering why it's like kind of cut off at the top, almost like they skinned it. But the Object 907 is an extremely strong tank. You all think the T-22 medium is overpowered. Well, we're going to have to see how this thing is when it comes into the game, because as you can see, it's got that same boat-shaped hull the T-22 has, where if you hit the edges of it, it's all angled, which means you're going to ricochet off. The lower plate is also very small. The front track wheel doesn't even exist, just like the T-22. The front track wheels are just literal tracks shoved off of the armor. So unlike, an IS-7 where you can shoot right through the track wheel into the armor, you cannot do that for any part of the tracks on the Object 907. The upper plate is very well angled, and it's going to be about 230 to 40 millimeters thick, which means that, yeah, you're going to get a lot of bounces if you're using the 6 or 5 degrees of gun depression that this vehicle will get. It's going to, of course, carry a 320 or 10 damage gun, which is probably going to have around 3,500, 400 DPM, just like the T-22 medium. But I'm very, very excited for this tank because it looks extremely bulky and very strong, of course. It's such a good-looking tank. I love that gun on it, and honestly, that gun looks like a bigger barrel than a 310 Alpha. It just looks so thick, but we're going to have to see, of course, how it is when it does come into the game. I'm very excited for this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Next up, we have the 50 TP prototype, the Polish Tier 9 heavy tank. Now, this is a vehicle that has been in super testing and now finally come into testing about 3 weeks ago for over a year. I made my video on this tank literally a year ago talking about the stats, and by far currently, with the current stats it holds, it is one of the most overpowered vehicles ever tested in the game. It's able to go 48 kilometers per hour forward. It's pretty much got medium tank mobility, but a gun that can penetrate through all heavies, and armor that can ricochet even some tier 10 tank destroyer rounds. It is such a strong vehicle, and I 100% feel that by the time this vehicle comes out, it will be definitely nerfed and a much different vehicle than what we're seeing today. But the 50 TP is very strong. It's got that really thick side armor all over it. It's got 8 degrees of frontal gun depression, 440 alpha on the standard. It's just a crazy tank, and I'm very excited to see when this does come into the game because, again, this is hinting that we are going to be seeing the Polish heavy tanks, the 60 TP, the 53 TP, all these super deadly vehicles coming into the game, which we'll be getting into at the end of the video. Now, up next, we have the M41D, or the M41 Jade. Now, this vehicle is a Tier 7 light tank, which I already made a video on as well, just a specific video if you want to check that out. But this tank has a little bit of a higher alpha than the average M41 Bulldog. It's sitting at, instead of 160, you ready for it? 170, yeah. Wargaming said it had a higher alpha, and I was thinking maybe 200, 220, but yeah. 180 or 170, I think it is not much of an increase. It's literally 10. So it's not going to be much of an increase on the damage. However, it still is going to be a very strong tank in my opinion. A Bulldog with very good DPM, of course. It's going to have decent armor, I guess, on the sides. It's got a little bit of spaced armor, which is going to make it harder to HE than your average M41, but I think it looks fantastic. We're going to have to see, of course, how it does play when it does come out into game, but let me know what you guys think about that one in the comments down below, and that's an overhead view of the legendary camo it's going to have. Now, the Skoda T25 is going to be the Tier 6 in the Czechoslovakian medium line. It's just kind of like the T25, of course, the German Tier 5 premium medium that you can get your hands on. Moving up to the Tier 7, we've got the I don't know how to pronounce that. Constructa. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but we'll call it the T34-100. Now, this vehicle is a Tier 7 medium. It carries a T34 hull, but as it says in the title, it carries a 100mm gun, which is going to be very impressive. 100mm is able to deal, what, 260 damage or so? So I'm very excited to see how much damage it's going to deal, if it's going to be a very strong tank or very weak. Of course, the T34 hull at Tier 7 is probably going to be much weaker than you'd want. However, that gun is going to pack a big punch, and I'm very excited to see that. Tier 8, we've got the TVP VTU concept. This is breaching the lines between a heavy tank and a medium, because it's got like a heavy tank gun. It's got a very big gun to it, I'm aware, but it's got literally no armor. It's got this big boxy design, which looks like a heavy, but it's really not a heavy at all. So I guess it's not really heavy. It's more like a Lorraine on the armor, but it's mobile. It's very fast, to what I'm aware, and it's got a really nice gun, good gun depression, 8 or 10 degrees. It's going to be able to slap the opponents for probably around 310 hit points a shot. So I'm very, very excited to see this vehicle as well. I think it's got very nice penetration values going for it. But moving up to the Tier 9, the what I'm fearing to come out on the battlefield, the Skoda T50. Because, of course, the Tier 10, the TVP T50-51, is going to be very strong. It's got a 2.5 second intro clip, I think. I don't remember what they made it. I think it's 2.5, and it's got 310 alpha after the buff, and it's got 4 shells. So the question is, what are they going to make the Tier 9? Because even if the Tier 9 has 3 second intro clip for 4 shells, that's still going to be, in my opinion, way too strong for a Tier 9 vehicle that's able to clip out pretty much almost any Tier 8 medium take or light take with a singular clip, which is going to be really, really tricky. It is a really ugly take, though, in my opinion. I don't like how the frontal armor is just, like, shoved up there, but let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. If you're excited for the new Czechoslovakian mediums coming into the game, or you're very, very fearing, I am happy that they're coming into the game because it's going to be a brand new playstyle, but as well, I'm also kind of not wanting to see them because they're going to be a pain in the butt to deal with, but I do like the TVP T50-51. I think that it does actually have some very nice curves, and it looks very, very nice, but let me know what you guys think. So finally, this is the new maps coming into the game. Now this one, I'm not sure what it's called, but it looks like we're getting a new type of temple map, maybe some peaceful retreats. It's looking very weird though, because I don't know about the cover, if you're going to be able to fight in the middle area, as you can see where the temples are. We're going to have to see how this map does come out when it looks nicer, and of course you've got all the textures and everything loaded in. But so far, I'm liking it. You know, it looks pretty dang cool, something new to the game. Another one we have is, I know this map because this is in World of Tanks PC and Mercenaries, but I don't remember what it's called, but it is a pretty cool looking map. It's maybe Junction it's called, something like that, but it does look very, very nice. You got the train station, you got a bunch of buildings where you're going to be able to side scrape and use your heavy tanks. I don't know about the medium side, but wow, this map looks really, really nice. I'm very excited for this one coming in. This is another view of the map, very, very nice again. So we do have some new maps coming into the game. This one's going to be really, really good for your heavies. I'm not sure about the mediums though. That's something I am going to want to see because it doesn't look like there's any gun depression whatsoever on this map. Now this, I'm not sure if this is a new map or this might be underneath this one here. Not 100% sure about that because this is like a whole different picture, but I'm guessing that this is underneath this map here. So we're going to have to find out about all this stuff. But finally, we have the 60 TP, which is going to be coming into the game very, very shortly, I'm thinking. Maybe after the TVP, this will be coming into the game because, of course, we've had the TVP, which Wargaming announced all the way back that they had the pan-European tech tree. It was going to have the Kronwagen, of course, the Swedish heavies. We were told that we were going to have the Italian auto-reloaders. We were told that we were going to have the Polish tanks, which, of course, would be the heavies. And then we were also told that we were going to have the Czechoslovakian, which is now what we're finally having. So all that's left is the 60 TP, the heavy tank. And I think that this was actually supposed to come out before the TVP, but because the 50 TP was so strong, they didn't even want to put this into the game yet because of how overpowered it was acting. But very, very excited for the 60 TP. Carries a massive 150mm gun, able to deal 640 damage on almost like an IS-4-like chassis. So very, very strong. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, though. All this information took a very long time to learn all the state facts and everything else like that. So if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. Sorry if I'm stuttering a little bit. I did just wake up. My nose is a little stuffy, and well, yeah, that's super fun. But hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and hopefully I'll be seeing you in the next one.